P90 Les Paul or Revstar. They're fundamentally the same. The Yamaha feels very different. There was a bit where I think I went, you know, and that's what it sounded like. A lot more clarity in the Revstar. A lot of people buy guitars with their eyes. And so much of it is about what your heroes played. It's guitar porn. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So this week, what I thought I'd do is a little follow-up to last week's review of the new Jobo Les Paul with P90s, which we reviewed last week in some detail. As you will know if you were watching, fabulous response to that film. Thank you. Yeah, lots of people are interested in it. And, we liked it, didn't we? We liked it, and we thought it sounded all right. I wasn't sure that my playing, did it justice, really. But what can I say? Thanks for all the messages of support from you lot saying no, it was perfectly adequate. Your playing was fine. Well, we got away with it, I think, as always. Look, I'm hard on myself. I always will be, and hopefully that's a good thing because it will make me even better. I appreciate the support that you lot give me. I really do. Yeah, the thing is, I do know that I can knock out a nice enough tune, a tuneful jam, from time to time. The thing that I struggle with is, in my head, is that effortless noodling that, the proper YouTubers do. They just pick up a guitar and they just play, don't they? I can do it at home, but I can't seem to be able to do it when the cameras are recording. So that's what I struggle with, and that's what I'm trying to get. That's the step that I'm trying to make in my own playing. I was watching that pedal show. I mean, obviously those guys, way better guitarists than I am. But you watch them, they just go, oh yeah, they're just playing away. They don't even cut that show, do they? They don't edit it. They just play for hours, and it's good, and it's interesting, and it sounds good. So I need to practice that. So what I thought I'd do this week is make it hard for myself and have another go at doing a little bit of mindless noodling on not only the Jobo, but one of the most, probably the most asked question last week I had was, okay, so P90 Les Paul or Revstar? This one. Les Paul or Revstar? P90s. It's the same rig. So what I thought I'd do is complicate things for myself and try and find out, compare them, sound-wise, which means I'm going to have to play both of these guitars today. And not only that, I thought, well, you know what, if we're doing that, we might as well dig this beauty out. It's an SG. It's an SG standard with P90s that you haven't seen it. I've never played it on the channel. I've had it since 2016 when 2015. No, 2016, sorry. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. I bought this new in 2016 for, I paid £899 for it in 2016. So that's a little bit of fun. I'm just going to throw that into the mix because I can. And so it's a bit of a spoiler, I suppose, really. But it's about these two, really, because a lot of people are saying, well, I'm thinking about getting a Revstar, but now Epiphone have released a P90 loaded Les Paul. Maybe that's the way I should go. So what we'll do today is, well, we'll compare them. We'll do some specs. I mean, both of these have been deep dive reviewed, and the links, of course, are in the description box, or they will be when I put them in there. So you can check out the real nerdy detail, looking under the pickups and stuff in these by checking out the reviews. But what we'll do is we'll do the basics. We'll play them both. We'll throw that into the mix a little bit as well, so you can hear the differences. It'll be basic stuff today. It'll be, we won't muck around with this has got fancy call thing, whatever it is. We'll ignore that today. We'll look at the basics. We'll try and do a bit of that thing that they all do that I have trouble with. And we'll do some loops as well, which, will hopefully sound better. And yeah, and that's what we're going to do today. So don't forget, timestamps are in the description box. You know where the kettle is, in the kitchen. Snacks, probably in the cupboard. Drinks, maybe in a drinks cabinet. I don't know where people keep drinks these days. Fridge, maybe. Depends what you're drinking, I suppose. Anyway, go and make yourself comfortable. That's what I'm saying, and come back and let's chill out and see what happens. Yeah, let's get stuck in. Right, where should we start? I'm just going to put the SG to one side for a sec. These are the two we're really comparing today. As I said, the SG is just a spoiler, really. But these two, because they're fundamentally the same, in that they're both mahogany construction, mahogany bodies with maple caps. Obviously, the Les Paul's got quite a nice carve on it, whereas the Yamaha, I was going to say, hasn't got any. It has got, because it's got a comfort carve there, but that's all flat. But it's got a maple cap all the same. And of course, the Yamaha is weight relieved quite dramatically. There's an image of the weight relief on this. The Epiphone's got no weight relief. So let's weigh them and see what that means. We'll start with the Epiphone. We only did this last week, of course, but here we are again. It's £9, 1 ounce still, which is 4.13 kilo. Yamaha, I can't remember. Let's see. It's about the same. Oh no, it's not. It's quite a lot lighter. £8, 4 ounces. A 3.75 keys. There you go. So this is the lighter one. Of course, that's not true, is it? Because the SG will be the lightest, won't it? Let's see. £6, 14 ounces. 3.12 kilos. It's one of the reasons a lot of people, including me, like SGs. Cost-wise, the Yamahas are a fair bit cheaper than the Epiphone, or at the moment anyway. The Epi Current retail here in the UK, 799 English pounds, if you can get one. Obviously they're on, I think they're back on pre-order or back order, whatever you call it. When they drop, then I imagine the prices will drop as demand drops. But at the moment, 799. When I bought the Revstar, which was, I think it was earlier this year, wasn't it? 679 I paid, so 120 English pounds less, so considerably less. But the street price of this has dropped now considerably. You can get this for about 600 quid, 600 English pounds in the UK, so a lot cheaper. And there's no two ways of saying this. It's far superior, the Yamaha, in terms of build quality. Why would I say that? But it just is. You can just feel it. You can just feel the quality. There's so many better things. Rosewood fingerboard, for instance. I think it's stainless steel frets. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's stainless steel frets. Laurel. Nothing wrong with Laurel, but we know rosewood's better, isn't it? It's better quality. The neck profiles, you know, I'm not sure, because I always think of the Yam as being slim because it's very slick. It's got a beautiful satin feel on the Yamaha. And I always think of it as being slim, but I don't actually think it is as slim as I think it is. The best thing we can do is measure them both now side by side and put the results on the screen and have a look. There you go, that was quite conclusive. The Epiphone is both fatter and wider than the Yamaha. And it's also a little bit asymmetrical, as you can see in those illustrations. Yamaha's quite slim, very comfortable, not thin, slim but not thin. Feels lovely, as I said, because it's got a beautiful matte finish, whereas the Epiphone, you know, is kind of a thick poly. Nothing wrong with it. But it's just one of the things about the Yamaha that really kind of makes it stand out. You know, it just feels very different, which I suppose leads us on to the next thing, ergonomics. Yeah, ergonomically, the Yamaha feels very different. The Les Paul is Les Paul, isn't it? You either love it or you hate it. It's a bit of a beast. It's quite uncomfortable. I'll tell you what I will do while we can. Sorry, I have to look up there in case I whack the camera with the headstock. Yeah, fat. I have to move my chair back for the fat chin test. So ergonomically, you know, Les Paul sits there. And if I put my knee out front, I can't remember how I did it now. Yeah, it's 15th fret. Yeah. And this is why I do it, because the way I'm sitting at the moment, I'm not suggesting that this is the best way to sit to play a Les Paul. But, you know, that's where you struggle there. I've not done this with the Revstar yet, so let's do it with a Revstar and see what happens there. It's the same. It's pretty much the same. I suppose the it's not, what's that called? That bit's in the same place. Yeah, 15th. So there's no benefit to the Revstar if you're sitting in this position to play it. This, of course, is where the SG comes into its own. Ah. Now, that's a very different kettle of fish, as they say. My fat chin, God blimey, it's there. What's that, 20th fret? Oh, look, effortless. Yeah. That's one of the other reasons I like SGs. So by now, we've had a bit of noodling, I hope, if it worked. I've actually done the recording. It was all right, I think. I got some stuff, I think. Yeah, I got some usable stuff. But yeah, we've had a listen. I'm not going to comment on what I think they sound like at the moment, but what we'll do is we'll do the pickup readings again so that we can just have that in our mind, how these may differ. Okay, so let's start with the Epiphone again. Wobbly knob, yeah, wobbly knob on 10. The bridge resistance is 7.59K, and the neck resistance on the Epiphone 7.63K. So keep that in mind. 7.59, 7.63. On the Revstar, we've only got the one knob. 7.9 on the bridge, 8.13 on the neck. So slightly higher on the Revstar, and we will take the SG readings as well. Because these are Gibson P90s as opposed to the Epiphone P90 Pros and the Epi. Bridge 7.53, so not far off the Epiphone. 7.76. You know, there's something similar going on. I mean, as far as I know, the Epiphone P90 Pros are just a copy of the Gibson pickups. And why wouldn't they be? I mean, yeah. So there you go, that's a little bit more info for you. Don't forget, full reviews, links are in the description box. What we'll do now is we'll have a bit more of a play, and then we'll come back, and then we'll have another chat, and we'll try and answer, well, the main question today. Which one? See you in a minute. So what does that tell us about this? Well, that last bit there, okay, I think I'm going to include in this cut the last bit with a bit of added sizzle. I think I used the, I don't think I showed you very clearly this week, sorry, but I only used, when I used it, in that last bit, the Soul Food, the EHX Soul Food, which is a very cheap clone clone. If you want a clone cheap, check out the EHX Soul Food, because it's great. And all I've done there is I've used it as really as a treble booster, as a clean boost, and I've whacked the treble, yeah, and the treble as well. And it gives it a bit of sizzle. Now, what I was going to say was before that bit, earlier on in the noodling, the crap noodling bit, you could hear more of the you know, what the guitar sounds like on its own without any extra help. And what I'm going to say is I thought that the Les Paul sounded least best, shall we say. It just sounded a little bit, like it needed that sizzle. I thought the Revstar, I think I said in the review of the Revstar, to me, it's got a kind of a, well, I think I described it as a high fidelity sound. It's got a very niceness about it. Really nice. That's a good way of describing it. It's nice. The SG, it's rock and roll. It's everything. It's kind of like, I think that sounded best. Without any help, the SG. But ignore that, because that's not part of this competition, is it? If it's a competition, that's just a spoiler. But you could hear that, couldn't you? It's got, yeah, it's got that. And then in that last bit, you know, the sizzle evens the playing field a little bit. And you know, bearing in mind that at this point I haven't finished editing, so I'm not entirely sure what I've included in that last bit. I don't know if I've included the SG. That might just be the play out jam. I haven't decided. Sorry. It's not like I have a storyboard or anything. So anyway, so then, you know, they both sounded good. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Certainly without any assistance, the Les Paul, it's quite woolly on the neck. There's a lot of flubber going on there when you go at the neck. You know, it's not unpleasant. There was a bit where I think I went, you know, and that's what it sounded like. Raunchy, but it's quite a bit woolly. A lot more clarity in the Revstar. So, but that's, you know, that's just my opinion. You might completely disagree, but I think you can hear the differences, which is well important really, because a lot of people say, oh, you know, it's all about the amp and pedals and all that. Yeah, a lot of it is to do with the amp, but what I think is important is these three guitars sounded different through the same amp. If you used a different amp, they'd sound different through a different amp, but they'd still sound different, probably. What the fuck am I talking about? So, yeah, but I mean, you know, it's not just about the sound, is it? And you can't, well, I was going to say, you can't say one sounds better than the other. If I was going to say one sounded better than the other, I'd say the SG sounded best, the Yamaha sounded second best, and the Les Paul sounded third best. They all sounded good though, which is all you need. You need guitar to sound good, don't you? But it's not all about the sound, is it? It's so much more than just about the sound. Choosing a guitar. So the question, which one? It's about the cool factor, isn't it? And you buy a guitar more. Well, a lot of people buy guitars with their eyes. Me, yeah, 100%. That's what I do. I buy a guitar with my eyes, and then you try and make it sound good. And every now and then you get a guitar that you're really happy with because it sounds great as well as looks great. So if you're going to buy a guitar, one of these, it's the cool factor, and so much of it is about what your heroes played. And you got to think, well, you know, who you know, Les Paul, who played the Les Paul? Not him, but you've got Jimmy Page and Mark Bolan and Slash. Add your own hero, because loads of people have played Les Pauls, so it's a magnet. It's guitar porn. And the Revstar, cool players that have played a Revstar. Well, I mean, Chris Buck is the only player to have played a Revstar that comes to my mind, and is no doubt he's phenomenally talented guitarist. He's in a brilliant band, Cardinal Black, fabulous YouTuber, ambassador for the guitar world. It makes you proud to be part of the community, Chris Buck, but not quite as cool as Slash. Come on, you're not going to disagree with that, are you? You know, no disrespect. Okay, so, and the SG, there's loads, isn't there? You know, Angus is pretty fucking cool, isn't he? And all the rest, you know, there's so many. The Revstar's the new kid on the block still. It's only been out half a dozen years probably, and Yamahas had never been especially cool anyway, but it's a fantastic instrument. It really is a fantastic instrument to play, and it sounds phenomenal. So which one? If you're thinking about getting a Revstar instead of a Les Paul, strong argument for that. Particularly, well, it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than this one. Revstar street price about 600 quid, about the same as an Epiphone Les Paul now. Standard Epiphone Les Paul. So, and it's a better quality guitar. It's made in Indonesia, and they've got, you know, they're pretty good, aren't they? Great quality, plays great, sounds great, very comfortable. Unless you want a Les Paul, and if your heart's set on a Les Paul, get a Les Paul. But I think for playability and sound, Revstar's the one. But of course, for me, there ain't no competition. All day long, it's the SG. It's got everything. And I think it sounds better in these two as well. And this, obviously, this is a Gibson, and it's more expensive. And if you were to buy one of these now, it would probably cost you twice as much as these or more. So it's unfair, which is why this is not in the competition. It's just a spoiler. But you can get a nice Epiphone SG with P90s. So if you haven't tried an SG yet and you think that they're troublesome because they've got a long neck that dives everywhere, get over it. Just get yourself an SG and be done with it. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us, putting up with it. Come back next week, same time, same place. See what we're up to then. Cheers for now. Ta-da.